In today's class, we'll be talking about rock formation, how our rock is being formed. And a rock is defined as a mineral material of the earth, which means rock is being formed from the earth. They are just mineral materials being gathered together to form a rock. And the earth crust consists of these rocks, and a rock may be combination of different elements such as our silicas, that's from silicon and oxygen. There are also some combinations of different elements. That's what makes a rock. And we have different types of rock. We have mainly three types of rocks. We have the igneous rock, we have the sedimentary rocks, and we also have the metamorphic rock. And all these rocks are categorized based on their origin, their mode of formation, their appearance, and also their texture, their structure, their colors, and mode of occurrence, and also the degree of resistance. So we'll be picking the types of rock one after the other, then we'll talk about their characteristics and their mode of formation, and most of the rocks, so we'll talk about their types. The first rock we'll be talking about now is the igneous rock. What are the characteristics of an igneous rock? Igneous rocks are glassy in appearance. They are glassy. When you hear the word glassy, which is they look like a glass. They are glassy in appearance. Igneous rocks are crystalline in structure, which means they contain crystals, and they do not occur in layers. And they do not contain fossils. And another characteristic is they are usually very hard and impervious. They are very hard. They are resistant to erosion and other elements of climate. Igneous rocks have resistance to erosion and some other elements of climate, and they are also light and dark in color. Mode of formation for an igneous rock. Igneous rock are formed by the cooling and solidification of a molten rock, which are called the magma. And this magma are ejected from beneath the earth crust. The magma, which results from high temperature and pressure beneath the earth crust, forces itself towards the earth's surface through cracks. As the magma moves towards the surface, it comes in contact with lower temperature, and it cools and solidifies to form an igneous rock. We have two types of igneous rock. We have the plutonic, which are also called the instructive igneous rock, and we have the volcanic, which are the extrusive igneous rock. For the plutonic or instructive igneous rock, these are rocks formed when the molten magma cools and solidifies slowly before it gets to the surface of the earth to form large crystals. For the plutonic, it's formed when the molten magma cools and solidifies slowly before it gets to the surface of the earth to form a large crystals. As a result of prolonged erosion, the plutonic igneous rock will later be exposed to the surface. Examples of this plutonic igneous rock are our granites. For the volcanic or extrusive igneous rock, these rocks are formed when the molten magma cools and solidifies rapidly on getting to the surface of the earth to form a small crystals. For the plutonic, it cools and solidifies slowly before it gets to the surface of the earth and it forms a large crystals. But for the volcanic, it cools and solidifies rapidly, getting to the surface of the earth to form a small crystals. An example of this volcanic igneous rock is the basalt. Sedimentary rock as another type of rock. Characteristics of the sedimentary rock. It occurs in layers or sheets. That's one characteristic of the sedimentary rock. And another one is the rocks are coarse in texture, which means they are hard. They are hard and rough in texture. They do not exist in crystals. They are non-crystalline in structure. and they contain foci for plants and animals, and they do not have resistance to soil erosion. They are soft, and they react with weak acid. And examples of weak acid they react on is dilute HCl. Mode of formation for a sedimentary rock. Sedimentary rocks are formed from sediment disposed either by air or by wind or by ice. These sediments are accumulated in layers, one on top of the other, and in layers, one on top of the other. And after a long period of time, they become hardened by compression to form a sedimentary rock. When hearing the word sedimentary rock, you know it's formed by sediments. Sediments disposed either by air or by wind or by ice. Once all the sediments accumulates in layers, that's one on top of the other. After a long period of time, they become hardened and composed, and this is how it forms a sedimentary rock. Sedimentary rocks are stratified rocks, and the plane between its two strata are called bedding plane. Types of sedimentary rocks. We have three different types of sedimentary rocks. We have the mechanical formed sedimentary rock, we have the organically formed sedimentary rock, and we also have the chemically formed sedimentary rocks. For the mechanically formed sedimentary rocks, these are formed from sediments of other rocks that have accumulated and cemented together over a long period of time. And examples of all these are our sandstones, our clays. For the organically formed sedimentary rocks, these are rocks formed from the remains of living organisms. And when sedimentary rocks are formed from the remains of living organisms, like our fish shells, such rocks are called calcareous rocks. And examples of these rocks are our limestone and our chalk. But when these sedimentary rocks are formed from the remains of vegetable materials, such as our swamps or forests, they are called the carbonaceous rocks. When they are formed from remains of living organisms, they are called the calcareous rocks. When they are formed from vegetables, like remains of vegetables, they are called the carbonaceous rocks. And examples of these carbonaceous rocks are coals, our petroleums are examples of the carbonaceous rocks. Another types of sedimentary rocks is the chemically formed sedimentary rocks. These rocks are precipitated chemically from rock solutions, and they are precipitated chemically from some rock solutions. And examples of these rocks are our potash, our sodium chloride, that's the common salt, and our nitrates. Metamorphic rocks, that's another type of rocks. Characteristics of these metamorphic rocks are some may occur in layer and some may occur in layers, and the rocks may be hard or soft. They are non-crystal in nature, in structure. They exist in different colors and texture, and they may contain fossil. Mode of formation. Metamorphic rocks are changed rocks. The rocks are formed from pre-existing igneous or sedimentary rocks, which have been changed as a result of great heat and pressure. The original character and appearance may be greatly altered or changed by some forces. Examples of metamorphic rocks include slates, marbles, graphite, For example, now slate is being formed from clay, and clay is an example of a sedimentary rock. Marble is being formed from limestone, and limestone too is an example of a sedimentary rocks. And another example is our graphite, which is being formed from coal. I know coal too is an example of a sedimentary rock. So metamorphic is just a rocks formed with pre-existing igneous and from sedimentary rock. We have economic importance of rocks in agriculture. Number one is formation of soil. Soil is formed from the disintegration of rocks. We get our soil from the rocks. We said like our rock is a mineral materials of the earth. Another importance of rock in agriculture is source of plant nutrients. Plant nutrients like iron, calcium, potassium are derived from rock. Rocks are elements. Elements gotten from. Our rock is mineral elements of the earth. So it helps in getting nutrients, and some of the nutrients that helps in our plants are derived from rock. We said source of plant nutrients. Some of the nutrients are gotten from the rocks, and like our iron, our calcium, our potassium are derived from the rock, which helps our plants. Construction purpose. Some rocks like granite and sandstones are quarried and used for road and farm building constructions. When we want to construct our farm buildings, we make use of granite. We mix them with cement, water, and the likes. It helps in construction purposes. That's one of the importance of rocks. Erosion controls. Rocks are used to make a pile up across slopy lands to prevent soil erosions. When you see a land that is very slopy, then when we pile up rocks, it makes the place very high. It helps in controlling soil erosion. If you look at a place where they construct roads, and when they want to construct a gutter, you would see they make use of rocks to build the walls. So when they make use of rock to build the walls, it helps and controls erosion. Another economic importance of rock in agriculture is obstacles to farm implements. Rocks are generally a source of hindrance to free operations of farm implements. There are sometimes when our cars or vehicles are moving on a slopey area that we need an obstacle to guide them. We can make use of the rocks. If our tractors are just going on a slopey area and we have to guide it, we make use of rock. They are big enough, like it's very hard for a vehicle to step on a rock like that. Domestic use are another importance of rock in agriculture, and some rocks like granite are used for domestic use, and examples of this domestic use are grinding stones. We call it olo. The domestic use where we can grind our pepper, can grind egusi on it too. That's our melon. Source of metals. Rocks are sources of metals which are derived from mines, and examples of this are our gold, our silver, our copper, and aluminium are all source of metals, and they are all gotten from rocks. And another importance is as an ornament. Some beautiful rocks such as marbles can be polished as ornaments for decorating our floors, walls of building, and our churches. We can make use of the rocks as ornaments. So when we polish them and make use of them as for decorating our floors and our walls, our churches, wall of buildings, churches can even be source of fuel. Sedimentary rocks like petroleum and coals are sources of fuel for domestic, commercial, and industrial purpose. Our coal, our charcoals now are all got it from this coal, and they are source of fuel. you can make use of our charcoals to cook for domestic use. Source of food: rock salt such as sodium chloride, that's our table salt, from sedimentary rocks provides minerals used in cooking our foods. And that's another source of food, rock, rock salt, which is our sodium chloride. It helps as a material that we use in cooking. We have to add some minerals to our food to make it more, to make it have more nutrients to our health, make it healthy for us to eat, and that's how I make use of the salt. And salt is just a product of a rock. Sources of minerals: some rocks are source of minerals such as gold, diamonds, limestone, petroleum, etc., which can generate income to the nation. Our minerals, when we export it out, can generate more incomes to the nation. Raw materials for industry: some sedimentary rocks are used as raw materials for industry. For examples, limestone are used in making cement, and marbles are used to manufacture glasses and house paints. That's raw materials for industry. We make use of some of our sedimentary rocks as raw materials. Thank you very much for watching and for listening. See you in our next class.